Hi everybody, Lady Pop Hunter here again with another video. This time I'm going to do something just a slightly different from my norm. I'm going to do a comic book review of the comic book The Ragman. And The Ragman came out in 1976 through 1977, and it was only a 5-book issue. The initial run was a 5-book issue, and then they brought it back in 91 to 92 with an 8-book issue, which is, I'll show you what that when it got like. To the 91 version, it seems like his entire storyline changed, even to the costume that he was wearing. So I'll talk about the 76 version.
Is that like his first appearance?
Yes. This appearance in 1976 was his first appearance of Roy Reagan. Roy was a young boy in this book in 1976. It just said that he lived in America. I get America because it said the metropolitan, the metropolis. It didn't say Gotham, and it didn't say metropolis where Superman lives. It just says he lives in a metropolis. Now, once we get to 91, they dwindle it down to Gotham City. So he's from Gotham.
So they got more specific in the second series.
Yeah. He lived with his dad. His mom died. They didn't go into how his mom died. His dad was a junk man. He would go around town picking up junk and reselling it. And people would bring their junk into him. It was kind of like a pawn shop.
So it was Fred Sanford.
Basically, Fred and Lamont. And as he grew up, he joined the military, went to Vietnam, and came back, and that's where this story picks up. He came back. He's working with his dad in the junk shop. His dad is murdered by some goons. What happened? Someone brought in a mattress. Dad took the mattress, not knowing that whoever brought in the mattress hid some money in the mattress. They hid $2 million in the mattress. Dad just throws the mattress outside in the back lot where all the other junk is. The goons are looking for the hiding place. They don't know that it's in a mattress. They just know that it's hidden in the junkyard. So one night, Dad and his friends, they find the money, and they're like, what are we going to do with the money? And then one of the friends is like, well, we're old now, so there's nothing we can do with it. Let's just give it to your son, Roy, and he can go on, because Dad made a promise to his son that one day you're going to be rich.
Like Fred Sanford. My empire.
One day you're gonna be rich. I'm gonna hit it big, and you're gonna be rich. So the friends agreed. They were like, okay, we're gonna give it to your son. Before that opportunity comes, the goon finds Dad and his friends, and they're like, where is the money? Dad and his friends are not talking. So they torture him. Roy comes in and he's like, Dad, just tell them whatever they want to know. He's like, no, I promise that you're going to be rich. And you're rich now. You have some money, but Dad never tells him where the money is. And he's killed. Dad and the friends are killed. So,
and for a point of reference, for younger people who are watching, money in a mattress was a common thing once upon a time. Back in the old days, when during and after the Depression, people didn't trust banks, and they used to do things like that.
Yeah, they would hide money they would hide money, and people still do it nowadays. They hide money in the mattress or somewhere in the house. But anyway, Dad and his friends die. They never tell Roy where the money is. So Roy doesn't even know. He thought his dad was just lying or not not being truthful. So he didn't believe that there that there even was money. So Roy goes in the house to make a phone call, and he sees a note on the phone next to a box, and it says, "For your birthday, this costume, so you can wear it to the costume party." And it was the Ragman costume. And the story behind that, a customer brings in the Ragman costume. Dad buys it, and his intention is to give it to his son to go to a costume party with his girlfriend like a week later. But Dad dies before he gives him the opportunity. So that's where the outfit comes in at. Roy puts on the outfit and then becomes the Ragman. Now, in 91, the story goes that the Ragman costume is passed down through the family, and it has mystical powers. In 76, it's just a costume.
They don't explain all that.
No, it's just a costume that he puts on, and he uses it as a way to mask his identity. Now, one thing that did come out in the story that they didn't really get into, and it leaves you kind of like wondering. Once he puts this costume on, now he can fight. He can fight. He's an acrobat. He can dodge bullets. He can do all this. And it never said that he had training. But it did mention in some books later, in one of the 5 books later, I can't remember exactly which issue, that Dad's friends, one of them was a strong man at the circus, one of them was a boxer, and another one was an acrobat in the circus. And he took on their abilities.
Which ties in with the later incarnation of the Ragman, because without explaining the nature of the suit, I think in the second incarnation of the Ragman, they explain that souls are trapped in it and he can tap into their abilities.
Yeah, that's in the 91 version, but it doesn't even come close to that in 76. It just says that he inherits the friend's abilities. So now he's a vigilante. He's going around and in the middle of the night, and he's fighting goons. Doesn't say that. It doesn't really get into like he's a crime fighter. And at first, nobody knows who he is. They just see this guy is a shadowy figure. During the middle of a robbery, a fight or something, a shadowy figure comes out of nowhere and begins to fight. He meets up with this girl that is being held by some goons and rescues her. And she's all into him. He's kind of into her, but they kind of leave it at that. He's thinking about her a lot, but he has a wannabe girlfriend that he always blows off because she wants him to leave the business, leave the junkyard. She wants to take care of him. And he's like, no, I don't want to leave my neighborhood. The neighborhood needs me. And he blows her off. Even though they go out on dates, he reluctantly goes out on dates with her and everything. But the woman he saves in the alley, her name is Opal. He runs into her several times. And, as the story goes on, it is one continuous story. He meets up with this little boy. The little boy is blind and mute. He witnesses a murder. The murderers don't know that the boy is blind and mute. Ragman figures it out. And it's kind of weird because they make a big production of constantly telling you that the boy is blind and mute.
Oh, the writer?
Yeah.
I see.
And it's like, okay, we got that the first time. But every time they talk about the boy, oh, he's blind and mute. I can't believe that he's having such a good time. He doesn't know that he's supposed to be sad and depressed because he's blind and mute. It's like, okay, we got the point. The boy is blind and mute. So, the whole thing with this story, I think it's some missed opportunities there. I think they could go in deeper as to his background, his mental state, because he just becomes the Ragman after he puts on this outfit. And they have a point in the story, they have their drug issue, and the whole thing, it seems like it's taking place in like the matter of months. It's not years. And you can tell by the way the story is going that it's not a long period of time. Somehow or another, it comes out in a drug issue. He's at the mortuary with the mortician and the police. And he's there in the middle of them coming up with, how are we going to rid the streets of drug dealers? And you're like, okay, how did we get here? Because in all of the two issues before, it was like, who is this guy? Now suddenly the police is like asking him, how are we going to rid the streets of drug dealers? So you're like, wait a minute.
You wouldn't ask Lamont those questions?
No. It's like how did we get from this guy fighting crime, nobody knows who he is, to now you're being talked to by the police on how to fight crime. And it just seems like it was a big chunk missing. It seems like they wanted to go someplace with this book or with the character, and they kind of got lost. Now, this is the little boy, the blind and mute boy. His name is Teddy, and he has a cat.
Why is he running around in the streets anyway?
That's another thing with this story. Teddy is in this abandoned apartment complex. The boy is blind and mute. It's the middle of the night, and it tells you it's the middle of the night. He's blind, he's mute. He's in this abandoned apartment complex, and these goons have two people. Now, I thought at the beginning this was his parents, because it's a man and a woman. It's a black man and a black woman. Boy's black. And they murder the two people. And your logic mind to say, okay, the boy is here, is two adults, male and female, that's his parents. It's not his parents. It's some neighborhood people. These goons, they charge money for protection. These people refuse to pay for the protection. They're encouraging the other people in the neighborhood, don't pay these goons. We don't have to pay them for protection. So they kill him. They don't know that the little boy is blind. He's mute. He didn't see anything. He heard everything because he can hear, but they don't know that. So now they're going to search all over for this boy to try and kill him. Ragman finds him in the street as he's running out of the building, and hides him and puts him over here in the corner and deals with these guys, and then takes the boy home and keeps him. And it's like,
Robin.
It's like, okay, you find a boy, you figure out, because he asks him, hey, what happened? Why are these people after you? And the boy, through his own special sign language, tells him what happened. So he's like, oh, you're blind and you're mute. So that's not a little alarm. Hey, maybe I need to take this boy to the police station. No, I'm going to take him back to the junkyard.
Yeah,
and
that's what you do.
And I'm going to keep him.
Oh, you find things and you take them home. So is this an expensive series?
No. This series is not expensive. All of the books that I have, and it's all 5.
Uh-huh.
I got in a $2 bin.
Oh, okay.
The most I paid was book 1. I think I paid maybe between $3 to $5. Book 1.
Okay.
So it's not an expensive set, and it's only 5. So you can get it fairly cheap. It's an easy, quick read. Like I said, the character is very interesting. The only issue I have, I wish they went more in depth with the character, and I wish they brought the story together a little more. It's like they had an idea for a story. It's one continuous story, which I do like, but it kind of fell off of the rails a little bit. It's like we got a lot of ideas and we need to cram it in there. And then the last story, it felt like they were told at the last minute, this is the last issue. Because the way they ended it was very abrupt and kind of like kind of ridiculous. The way they ended it.
That could be because that does happen. Like I've got Black Goliath is only 5 issues. The reason it's only 5 issues is because they couldn't hold on to a writer. I think it had like 3 different writers, and then that person couldn't do it. And they were like, all right, well, we'll just put it on the shelf and see what happens, and never got back to it. And that does happen from time to time.
Yeah, because they ended it in a way that felt like they were going to come back. But this story, you could tell that maybe they could have ended the story, but they could have ended it a better way. It just ended really silly and kind of stupid. But I read the cover. I haven't read the 91 version of Ragman, but it says here that he comes out of Warsaw Ghetto, so he has a Jewish background, and it does say that on the internet that he has a Jewish background, and somehow or another he ends up in Gotham City. So that sounds like he's going to have a deeper, more in-depth background, and it's going to be probably better.
Maybe they took more time with it.
Yeah, maybe they took more time to develop the character. They obviously developed the outfit in this one, which they didn't hear because in book in volume 1 it was just a costume. So again, there's no speculation on a book. I haven't heard that he's gonna turn up in the DC universe or he getting a TV show or something like that. It was a book that I saw, and I bought it because I bought this one first. Where is it? I bought this one first, and I saw the little boy on the cover, and I wondered what was going on with this little boy. And I bought the book, and I looked it up, and I saw that it was only 5 issues. So I was like, well, I'll get it and see what it's about. And I'm glad I did.
So it's worth reading?
I'm glad I read it. Again, I think they could have did more with the character. I think the story could have been developed a little more. I like the fact that it was one continuous story. I think it is worth reading just because it's a good little story. I think it could have been better. I don't know if it wasn't a great writing team or it was just a lot of ideas put down on paper and then somebody came together and tried to put it together. Maybe that was the case. Maybe they were just hashing out an idea for the character. I don't know. But I liked it. I wish they would do more with the character. I'm more interested. This is the drug issue.
Yeah.
Right here. This one is the drug issue. And this is the girl. She died. She don't look like this in the book. She looked different. But, yeah. You look at the book, you look in the book, and she looked totally different. But I'm more curious as in reading the 91 version. I don't know what happened in 2017. I didn't look to see, what the storyline was behind that. But I think maybe you'll like it if you were to take the time, pick it up, read it, see what it's about. Again, I think the character is interesting. I think they could do more with him. Dig in a little bit deeper. It was kind of, once I found out that he was in Gotham, I'm like, okay, isn't that kind of conflicting with Batman a little bit? Because Batman is also in Gotham, pretty much doing the exact same thing. But I guess he can help Batman out. Gotham is a big city.
Batman will let him.
Yeah, but Ragman will kill you though. Batman won't.
So Batman would be in conflict with him.
Yeah, cause he doesn't he won't shoot you or do something like that, but he'll do something and he won't stop he'll slam your head against the wall. If you're killed by that, oh well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's not going to intentionally, kill you, break your neck or shoot you or something like that. He's
just heavy-handed.
Yeah, and he don't care. Batman will hold a punch's back. Ragman won't. So he'll allow you to die. If, you get hit by the punch or the kick, then that's on you, basically. So in that regard, he's different from Batman in that regard. But it doesn't say what motivates him, though. You know what motivates Batman. Ragman, you don't really know what motivates him because he doesn't seem like he was... I don't want to say he didn't seem like he was broken up by his dad's death, but he wasn't seeking revenge for his dad's death. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and that's the Ragman. I didn't tell you the ending because in case you want to read it, I don't want to really spoil it. Because some people don't like that. I don't mind it, but some people don't like that. So in case you do decide to read it, I'll let you be shocked at how the book ends. So, any other questions?
No, I guess that is it. Thank you for your insight.
Yeah, and as always, thank you for spending time going through, watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. So, until next time.